All right, we're rolling, and then we'll just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and then try to educate the people, hopefully, and tell some stories, and hopefully get some good info out there. So some background for the people listening. Hopefully this audio and video works, and then people can listen to it. But for you guys listening, so Nick and his wife Lee have significant experience in apparel business. Nick is one of the guys I go to for when I have business questions. Always a great dude to chat with. But now you guys are branching out into something different. So you guys have experience of brick and mortar, it's not quite Fred December's, but yeah. The brick and mortar location you guys have had for, what's that, 14 years now?
Yeah, 17.
17 years now? Yeah. So you guys are totally familiar with the space. And you have apparel experience, and now you're branching off into a kind of coffee cart situation instead of brick and mortar.
Yep.
So now we're talking about basically trying to, whether it makes sense to attach apparel for that, and if so, in what capacity, and kind of how to dial that. Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'll flesh out a little bit so that folks listening have a little bit more understanding. So in probably 2006 or 5 or 4, Lee and I had a apparel company called Quiet Hero. Yeah, it was a good little super funky art stuff. We got it into Nordstrom, we got into Fred Seeger, and then we went bankrupt on it after making a couple bad decisions. And so we knew like what really good looked like and also what really bad looked like. And we had an understanding of apparel at, I think it was about the same time you guys were starting Forge, Jim. Yeah, you were a year or two ahead of us, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then we started Paleo Treats, which is a dessert company we're talking about now, in 2009. And that has been running from 2009 until now. And the first couple of years, it was just shipping, just kind of online stuff. And then 5 or 6 years into it, we got a brick and mortar location.
Yeah.
And then we moved the location twice and eventually end up with a place we're now, which we 3275 out of San California, right? Our post office in Normal Heights. And we sell a lot of retail out of there. So it used to be kind of 90% shipping and 10% walk-in. Mm-hmm. And now it's not quite fully reversed, but it's probably like 30% online and 70% walk-in.
Okay, cool.
And so now we're adding in this, and that's just desserts, so gluten, grain, dairy free stuff. Now we're adding in this coffee bar or coffee cart to it. And we saw your videos on Facebook. I was like, oh, we should talk to Ryan about like, A, should we even add apparel? And B, are there things that we should think about in making that decision?
Well, I mean, you know the apparel game. What are your thoughts on?
I don't know. I think we've always had like what we think are really cool ideas. But I also know that every business takes a ton of effort. And I'm pretty hesitant to say like, let's just kind of sprinkle some apparel in and it'll make $1 million. Because I don't think that works.
I also think we're super creative. Like we can really blast through some cool designs that people love.
Yeah.
You know, we do kind of like edgy stuff.
Yeah.
We've had like, I'm into spiritual shit. That's been one of our most popular things. And we did mugs. And it's interesting, you know, after like 20 years down the road to think of just doing the brand itself, mm-hmm. right? So the coffee carts or the coffee bar is going to be Juliet Coffee. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just what is the value of actually just doing the brand itself? Don't get crazy, don't get wild, but just do, you know, Juliet Coffee, Normal Heights, San Diego. You know, that's our biggest question. And should we just do a basic, or is anybody going to want to wear that or buy it? You know, that's our question.
Yeah. To be clear, I don't have all the answers or any of the answers because you guys have the same experience I do. So this is just kind of a conversation about bouncing ideas off of. But as you're saying that, it kind of, an idea popped in my head that might be worth exploring, because we were just in the back heat pressing for print on demand order. And because the coffee cart was kind of a more of like a mobile experience. And so you're limited obviously on what you can take and transport and all that stuff. So what if we added the experience layer to it and you got like a small heat press that you could just heat press stuff on there, and that way you had your retired inventory in like one shelf, and you just wear a couple and maybe hang a couple up, and then somebody says, oh, I want that one, and then you get to press it for them right in front of them, and they get that experience of like kind of seeing you make it. Because most people don't see the process of it.
Yeah.
And then it gives them that kind of authentic feel. And then you can do the neck labels in there too, which is just another, and those are super easy to get on. It's the same process, obviously. And then it's a fully finished garment that they feel like they've invested. You can even have them like press it, as they feel like they'll make it. That might be something to do instead of like just coming out with apparel for it. Maybe you make that part of the immersive experience with it.
Okay.
I don't know if that fits your whole goal with like.
That's right. Yeah. I think to clarify, like the coffee cart, it's confusing. It sounds like it's something we'll roll to events, but it's not. It's just going to live in Paleo Treats. And for someone who walks in, it will look like we are a coffee shop with like a regular counter.
Oh, it's okay. So it's like a integrated like modular counter that rolls into your shop. Okay, I see.
Have you gone to Jaunt Coffee, which is right across the street here, and then maybe a quarter mile that way? Like it's a coffee cart, but it looks like a full-on coffee shop.
Oh, okay. Kind of like the ones you used to have at the NAB with the coffee girls over there.
Maybe.
Most coffee shops.
Yeah, most shops you walk into and are actually coffee cart. Oh, shit, I do the permitting thing. So it's like, okay, you want to spend
They don't have grease.
$1,700 on permitting for a coffee cart, or do you want to spend $30,000 to have like an actual coffee shop? And most people are like, I would rather spend coffee cart.
I'll pay the coffee cart for $70. Well, I think it just comes down to testing, and you guys have great ideas. Just a matter of testing it.
Yep.
But that's super easy because you just do again like print on demand. You don't need screen printing for it. Because most like will know the difference in quality, but most of the consumer base won't. And also you can capture. I mean, the reality is with print on demand, like screen printing is tough because everything has to go through screens. But which you guys know, I'm just articulating for the audience.
Yes.
But like a picture like that would be super easy to do with print on demand or a heat press because you basically just put a glue backing on the photograph.
Yep.
Press it on.
I wonder. I don't think this is worth making the investment right off the bat, but we were just talking about how much we've been using AI.
Yeah.
And that might be super cool to have, because I can build anything with tech, is something like, hey, kind of like Bullfrog used to do with like 300 design.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what do you want? But if there's an AI piece and we set up that specific LLM to be Juliet Coffee focus, and you're like, oh, describe the design you want. They've got a bunch of like a library of Lee's art, and they come in and like, oh, I want whatever is like an elephant and a coffee cup. And then it spits out a design. We print it and press it right there. So they get like a custom piece.
That'd be super cool.
When you're ordering,
Then they got to print it, like give the actual design.
Well, you can, I mean, you can do that. It's just that's a whole different machine that we don't have. We order our DTFs. When you're saying thing up there, I forget who we go for Bulgaria.
when you're coming out with a new image that you want to try, is there an amount that you order, like a standard? You'll do 10 just to see if it flies.
Yeah, for us, if we're doing screen printing with it, I'll just do 50 units just to try. Like when we first started Liberty Risk, I just did 50 units because that's about the minimum you can get across the size range. And you wear one and you give some out to your friends, and less than 50 and you're out already. So you don't have any to sell. Yeah. So 50, we did do something different where we have our one of our best selling designs, the World Tour tee.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, maybe this will look good on hoodies too.
Yep.
So I didn't make any. I just got the DTFs and the blanks. And now when an order comes in for those, I press them. And that's nice too, because the DTF is like it's not as soft as screen printing, but on a hoodie, you don't really notice it.
Right.
So, and it works out pretty good. So we didn't have to have any inventory of those, and hoodies are expensive. So I don't want to order like 30 hoodies. Normally we'll like test to 50. If it goes well, we'll order 100 or 200, depending on how fast we sell on those.
Got it.
Because especially a new brand, you might sell out of 50 units in 3 days, but that doesn't mean you sell out, 300 in 9 days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there's a limit to how big your audience is at the time. So I like to test because the goal is that you want to maximize that audience with maybe a little bit left over, so to know that you didn't undershoot it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sucks to sell 500 and be like, maybe I could have sold 1,000. Yeah. But if you have 505 and you sold 500 and you're like, oh man, I nailed it. Yeah. So it's just a constant testing game. It's all in the data, which I love, but it's not the artistry. part of it. I guess there's an art to data, but it's not when you say it's all in the data. Like, what are you looking at? What are you doing? So it's a sales trajectory, like how, like what you ordered, what you tested, and then how fast that sold. That would be your sales trajectory. And then you map that against your remaining inventory, if there is any, and the sizing ratios on what sold, what didn't sold, what sizes sold, what sizes didn't. And then you recalculate your sizing ratio, and then you backtrack that on your lead time, and you guesstimate on we sold this amount. There's a time frame. So it's just, I mean, it's a calculation, but I love that stuff. But you don't have to get that nerdy about it. It's try 50. If it sells fast, try 100.
Right.
If those still sell fast, try 200.
How do you keep track of that? Is just spreadsheets, Excel?
There's an app on the back end of Shopify called DeepMind.
Okay.
It does a great job of, because Shopify is really good on the front end. It collects a lot of data, but it doesn't show you a lot of the data in a manual way. Yep. So the app DeepMind is, I think, $10 a month, and it's free for the first 2 months. But what it does is it tracks all the data on the back end. So it'll give you a list of all your best-selling products and how many of each you sold by the unit number and the dollar amount menu. And then if you click on that product, it'll tell you how many of each size you sold, how many of each color. So then you can just take the data, just do it down to its lowest common denominator. This sounds complicated. It's cheaper. Yeah. It's not. I'm thinking like I could build my own app and it's like save ourselves $10 a month. There's no matter. I already have all the algorithms. We've been doing it for years. I was gonna make an app, but then I got on sidetrack. And then AI came out, and like somebody's gonna come out with it in like tomorrow. But that gives you your sizing ratio, and then you can use that to just put in the next PO.
Yep.
But DeepMind is the best place I found to do that. There's some PO calculators that say they do it, but they're super complex. Even all the big brands we work with, none of them do it extremely well. I think if brands are like $100 million size, they have a department inside them that actually does that, but they could cook in there. Yeah, even brands are like, in the low 8 figures, they still are just kind of like weighing it. It's not very accurate. And so it's surprising how many people like actually don't do this.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. But it's not hard. Just test low. If it sells fast, order more until you reach that apex point where like you start to have excess inventory, and then just order less.
Yeah.
But I think the blanks are going to be key for you guys too, because you guys have it's a very niche market.
Yeah.
And then with you guys' art too, it's more on like the organic side of things.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different blanks. Our normal stuff, like this is next level 3600, standard blank. You guys might like to look at something like alternative apparel, which is super nice stuff. Or Allmade has some good stuff. It's really nice organic. It's one of my personal favorites, but I just can't justify the cost of my line because our stuff is pretty standard.
Yeah.
Standard stuff.
Yeah. I like the charcoal one for all these things.
Oh yeah, the Liberty there. Yeah, I just changed the blank because I was nerding out on the blank. We got these really nice like cotton heritage ones, but then the sizing was, so I had to undo the sizing, and it's just complicated, and they're twice as expensive. Wow. And then none of our customers care, so I had to go back to like just taking my own advice and back to basic blank basic stuff. Yeah.
Do a cotton poly blend always, like?
No, just 100% cotton.
100% cotton,
yeah.
Really?
But that's just me, because if I personally like just start to sweat in a blend, that's why I just do 100% cotton, and nobody really knows the difference.
Huh.
Yeah. The funny thing too is like the most expensive t-shirts and the cheapest t-shirts are both cotton. It's the blends in the middle, because the really expensive cotton is super nice, beautiful material,
right?
But they try to get that feel in the cheaper cotton by blending it with polyester. So that's why they have blends. That's why they're cheaper, is to emulate the feel of a really nice wash. But yeah.
Is there like a price range that you think of, like a cheapest possible shirt is going to be in the $2 and the most expensive blank is going to be in the 14 kind of ish? Or is that?
Yeah, I mean, you can get some really bottom of the barrel ones for $2. You can get some blanks for $14. Usually they're going to be in the $3 range to like the $9 to $12 range.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is bamboo dead?
I don't know. I don't know if it ever went away. I think people stopped being marketed as much. I think Allmade has a bamboo line. It's got some great properties.
Yeah.
I just don't know enough about it to.
We had bamboos. We had AFL so good, but it fucking warped like crazy. And so like the shoulder seam would be down here. There would be a back here was but it felt super good.
Yeah, you guys should look at alternative apparel then. Because they're an old company. Well, the problem is they got bought out by, I think, Hanes or Gildan.
Yeah.
For a while. They were actually older than American Apparel. And then they got bought by Hanes or Gildan. Now they're treating them like a fast food stepchild. Like there's shit inventory. Like they don't even, I don't even think you can get them anywhere. Get them off like Amazon or something.
Huh. We went up to their place in LA.
Yeah, but that was
Long time.
2006.
Yeah, they've got, I think they sold or got absorbed or whatever it was 4 years ago, I think. But they're great. They're the best shirts I've ever had. They're fantastic. I wish I could use them more. It's just they're tough to get because they're you got to order them through this whole convoluted process. But the t-shirts themselves are nice. But also Allmade has a comparable one as well. They're super eco-conscious. And then there's a handful of other ones, but I just haven't looked at like the specific blanks in a long time because we've been so focused on just like the other parts of the business.
And do most blanks not have the tag? So you could put your own.
They always got to have something in there, just for the FTC regulations. But most of them know that their blanks are going to be used as blanks, relabeled, so they don't usually make them difficult to get out, except for comfort colors, which like it's like it's like a towel in there. So those like you got to really be careful or actually cut the seam and then they sew it, which is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But they're nice shirts too. But they're in like the the $6 or $7 range compared to like $3 or $4 range.
Yeah.
So they're pretty expensive.
Do you think it makes a difference on the price of the shirt, how fast they sell, or do you think it's more design or presentation or something else? Like,
I think it's more the story. I think it's a story that surrounds the
brand.
Yeah, the story is really what sells. It's a great book. You probably already seen it, but I tell people this all the time. It's stories that stick, like Kendra Hall. Oh, this is awesome. I took so many notes on that book. It basically comes down to, the psychology of why people buy something. It's all the stuff you already know. It just kind of distills it down into words on a paper, and you're like, oh, that's why this happens, So that was really useful for me to kind of put these ideas and concepts into the messaging and the mission of the brand. And also, it sounds weird, but I know you guys are big on AI too. Like, you just have a conversation with chat and be like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And it'll spit back some stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's literally a conversation. And that will really help like hone in like what the true like visual message. Because that's the point of the brand, is that you want to take this message and mission and meaning of the company and distill it down to a visual essence. And then, so you got your still visuals, and that goes on the shirt in whatever way you're describing this brand. And then for the social media, now you're putting that into videos. Like, how are you in a video describing this message and mission of the brand in a visual way to your consumers, so they understand like, oh, that also fits with my life. I also enjoy this thing. Because t-shirts are like, I look at it as like a tattoo that people wear for a day. And like they want to, this is how I want to be presented to the world, right? And sometimes it's a super aggro shirt and sometimes it's super chill. And you just kind of, this is how I want to be perceived by the world today. And that brand that you put on helps you describe to the world how you fit in the world. Yeah. And this book has a really good idea of like, describing that whole journey.
Yeah. That's great.
Any big mistakes that you see, like, God, they're fucking doing it again?
Oh, I'd make all my same mistakes again, unfortunately. Like with the blank selection, I might be stuff. But also too, I think times change, and stuff that didn't work, 10 years ago is working now. And stuff that did work 10 years ago doesn't work anymore. So I think timing is a huge part of it. I think when Forged started off, there weren't a whole lot of other military brands around. So we caught, not that we were good at it by any means, we were terrible, but that runway of us not having as much competition allowed us the time to get better until we were able to kind of like get big enough that it had some momentum. And then it became known. Because it was harder to start an apparel line back then, but it was easier to scale. And now it's the opposite. It's so easy to start an apparel line that everybody does. So with so much chaff in the air that it's really hard to get escape velocity to where you get noticed. So it's complete opposite. And then the timing of that too is like military brands are, I mean, the last 15 years have been just, I mean, they've been up to us. You can't walk out the street because you need 10 guys on military brands there. See it in San Diego. So that has changed. I noticed that with the Livers podcast too, is that we're telling stories now that 10 years ago, people would have been like, we only hear cool guy war stories, you know? Yeah. But now the same guys are a little bit older. They have kids of their own that might be in the military. They're hanging out with their wife. They're at a different point in life.
Yep.
So I don't know if that podcast would have worked the way that it has like 10 years ago, you know? So I think timing has a lot to do with it. But also it's just sharing your vision and trying stuff and put it out there in the world like you guys already do and you're already good at. It's just maybe just one more thing that you try, and then it's not gonna work exactly as you think it will. Largely, it never does.
So a couple of questions about this for kind of academia.
Yeah, but I think like you've got the same experience I do and all this stuff, and it's just bouncing ideas off, you know, other people and chat and being creative and problem solving. And there's so many more solutions out there now to stuff than there was back in the day. It's freaking crazy.
Do you fail fast on things?
I try to. If I'm lucky, I fail fast.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I hold on to things longer than I should. I know it'll work.
I swear to God, yeah.
Yeah, and it rarely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
But-
think of that when you're doing things? Like, just pull the plug, let's go? Like, or is it?
Yeah, and sometimes I'll try to pull it too early because I'm like, fuck it. You know,
Right.
and I lean a lot on Disney. That she is more like steadfast in that stuff. I'm more like, oh, fucking idea, we could do all stuff. And sometimes I don't give things enough time to like mature.
Right.
And she's like, no, hold on, this is a good idea. Just give it some time to cook. Yeah, let it cook, let it grow some legs. And then I'm like, oh, this is a thing. Because I like the building process.
Yeah.
But it's like the operations process is not my favorite. But that's where she comes in. But having her eye on that really helps me see it from, she sees from this angle, I see from this angle. So together we can have a pretty good, you know, 3D view of what it is. It's more of a realistic view rather than my thing. Like, it's a great idea. Oh, it sucks. I'm terrible.
Yeah. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super valuable.
It's so natural though, dude. But I think where people run into the problem is they do too much of one or the other. Like, you only do your vision and then you just ignore the market.
Yeah, and then it starts and finishes.
Yeah, and that's where it starts to get, yeah. Or the other thing where you follow the market only and then your brand has no soul and no vision for it.
Right.
So it's a line to walk, I think. At least that's been my experience with it.
Yeah.
Do you?
Good.
I was going to say, do you find community? And that's what we're finding is just, I listened to a podcast. I think it was David Sinek or whatever. He said something like, if you're going to sell, don't worry about the people on the East Coast. You know, if you have a skateboard park, he goes, worry about the 4 kids at the skateboard park in your neighborhood. And we really
Eric Silvers.
Yeah. Some of my favorite was, but that line is always stuck with us in our community, right? Of Normal Heights.
Yeah.
And in our community of Normal Heights, there's, 4,000 houses or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and do you think of that with when you're building something, your team, and as far as, we're getting so far away from a human contact with AI, and do you do more community stuff and think about community and building on community?
I haven't intentionally done it, but
Okay.
now that you're bringing that up, there's one example that I can point to that I've noticed a lot where you guys know Mitch's surf shop in La Jolla.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but I see those guys' sweatshirts and hoodies everywhere. I've seen them in other states, and they are up the street from me. I've never been there. So I think if you make the community strong enough locally, and if it's a cool vibe
Yeah.
and something that people really connect with, then that will be the epicenter of it. And then usually like the coast drive what's cool, like East Coast or West Coast, and then that drives what's cool. And then there's a couple of years where it disseminates across the Midwest. And that's pretty normal. But if you can start that same concept in where you guys are and drive that community and really strengthen that through whatever experiences or connections or communication and just talking conversations, I think that's what makes people connected to a brand,
Right.
is when they feel like, oh, I'm not just wearing this t-shirt. Like, no, I met these guys. I had a conversation with these people. Like, I know these people. And so when they wear the shirt, somebody compliments that,
Yeah.
they feel like, they're like, let me tell you a story about this.
Yeah.
We did with Forged, that's one of the main things we started to see when we first started to get traction was, we had an event, and it was right before Christmas break, where the guys would go they would go home for Christmas break all across the country. And so we had this big event. Everybody bought a bunch of shit, and then we would see online there's like 5 people from this little town in Montana would buy something, and then 8 people from Kentucky would buy something. These little pockets of like and random places across the United States were watching. Like, what is going on here? And then when the guys came back, we figured out that they told us like, bro, I was wearing your shit over hometown and everybody fucking loved it. And it's because, and team guys were normally like leaders of their social circles normally.
Yeah.
And so they would go back home and everyone would be like, oh, my buddy's a fucking team guy, ride to the bars. And then like, oh, that's your brand. And they tell the story of meeting me and Mikey and all this and the story behind the brand.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want that in my life too. So then that is what really started to gain us traction, was just being super strong in our little community. Cause that's the only thing we had to sell at the moment, was connection to the students, to the, King Bat community.
Yeah.
And then allowing other people access to that.
Yeah.
And that's like the mechanics of how that brand actually got, real traction.
I wonder if you can manufacture that thing to be like, where can you go where there's a concentration of people who all like you, who all immediately leave and go back to their own thing?
Suka.
I don't know
Or I was like, Mitch's is a great example.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because I can picture the logo, and it's a small, dumpy little North County surf shop.
Right?
No, I think it started in Encinitas.
Did it?
I'm pretty sure.
We know.
Lot
Never
right
been.
ago. Like, maybe.
We should do it.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, but it's great now. Use your birthday.
It's like they want to rub against you guys. They want to, and by wearing the shirt, it's like one more
Oh yeah.
rub.
Yeah. Well, people want to feel cool and connected and relevant.
Yes.
And so if you can give them something to wear that makes them feel cool and relevant, connected, then that's a story. Like, the story that you're telling about your brand is the story that they want to tell about themselves to the world.
I guess the thing I'm thinking of there is, I wonder if it seems like a good idea to say, as part of starting the shop, we run a bunch of experiences. And whatever that is, maybe we talk about, because we're building this crazy water system that like changes water for coffee, and because coffee is 95 to 98% water, et cetera, but whatever the experience is, whether it's about coffee or water or something else, and build into that thing like, hey, we know that people are going to leave here. They're going to like what we've done, and they're going to go back. And maybe it's something where we force the function a little bit and say, when you either buy a ticket or here, or you come here, like, we're giving you a shirt, so you have something to wear, and then let them go out and kind of manufacture that same mechanism.
Could you bottle the water? Because if you could bottle the water, people could go home and have their experience. Then you could sell the coffee in like the kind of tea bag thing. I don't know enough about coffee. Maybe that's just a good idea. But
No, like that's part of what we're doing, is that because coffee is almost entirely water, most cafes will just clean the water coming in from San Diego, because San Diego has really hard water, there's a lot of stuff in it. And so they clean it out, and then the Specialty Coffee Association has published like, hey, this is what your water should be for coffee. It should have this much magnesium sulfate, as much sodium bicarbonate, this much calcium carbonate, where those things are. But there are very few systems that allow you to build that type of water for your coffee. There are some systems where they basically give you like a dissolving stick that has all those things in it. And so you run pure water across that stick, it dissolves out hopefully the right kind, or you get like good enough coffee. And what we built is this thing that says like, all right, you want 4 more parts per million mag sulfate, like cool, we hit a little pump that pushes that in, so you get exactly the water you want. No one else is doing that. But it's also like pretty fucking rare.
there's nobody that sells that type of water that you can buy. Yeah, that might be a bigger idea than anything else by itself.
It might, yeah. So
You got to be pretty deep about
pretty nerdy, and you have to have a decent palate to taste the difference.
Yeah, but look at what's that Murder Your Thirst brand?
Oh, death water death, liquid death.
Stupidest idea I've ever seen. And I later thought, well, I remember saying that out at events where the floors like, who the fuck is buying canned water? This is the stupidest idea ever. Obviously, I could not have been more wrong about that.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. They're like a multi-billion-dollar brand now. I would have never thought. Obviously, I'm not a customer of that, but holy shit, man. There's a market for that. But I know that this would pair so well with, because the coffee market's huge. And there are a lot of people who, there are the subset that are connoisseurs, but there's also the subset, a bigger subset that wants to be connoisseurs. You know, like I'm not an audiophile guy, but I like having a tube amp setup.
Yep.
You know, but a real tube amp guy will come into what you're fucking talking about.
Yep.
But I like to associate myself.
10. Yeah, you're number 10. I like it's like the dabble's not quite the right word.
Yeah, so that might be something worth exploring, and then you start to hear sell it with people going home with little packets of their own coffee, and then use those reviews to get into other water stuff. There's a buddy of mine, his wife has a water company up in Brent Leeson. Yeah, there's another team guy up in Rancho Santa Fe. His wife has a coffee, or not a coffee company, a water company. So if you want to explore that further, she'd be a great person to talk to you about it. But that would be.
I think the water stuff is it's definitely a piece of the marketing story, because certainly within our area, within half a mile, there's 7 other coffee shops, and we like all of them. We'll go to all of them. It's like, we made this because no one's doing good coffee. Like, no, I don't serve good enough coffee. Like, we made this because we wanted to do a coffee shop for a long time. And I was like, oh, there's this opportunity for me to be a fucking ultra nerd and build this thing that
Also,
we're
we're working with other, like we're going to work with Bubs. We're going to work with local coffee shops. And My Drive, which is a keto brand. So we're going to work with a bunch of local people.
Yeah, I mean, that's how Black Rifle started, was just, Evan being a coffee nerd. Yeah. I don't know anything about their coffee, and may or may not be good. At the scale they're producing, I can't imagine most of their audience even gives a shit about being the best coffee, but he cares. So therefore people feel like they're getting better coffee when they buy it. But I think it sounds like there's a couple of things that you guys could test in Tanner here, and you just try out the market, the branding and the merch side of it.
Yeah.
Try out the brick and mortar side of it, and the water and the coffee piece of it might be really interesting too. And then just see whichever, it's like throwing lines in the water,
Yeah, it's always St. Mary's, but it's a vendor fair. So it's like, that'd be cool. Torque Coffee comes in, and Acento, and then the My Drive guys, like all the different vendors that sell True Paleo treats, have them come in. So customers come in.
That's one thing we're plugging into is, because we are paleo treats and we have a lot of keto, low sugar stuff, is plug it into that community.
Yeah.
So they have a place to go that's, they're going to hit MCT.
Do you have special kind of waters for their stuff too? Or is there multi-purpose for this water that the different market would want it? Or is it just...
Probably how, like wholesale?
No, I mean, like if somebody's into keto, are they also aware of any specific water requirements?
Probably not for keto. I'm sure I could figure it out and sell something. It's more like you'd have the water that you want for espresso. This gets ultra nerdy, but it's different than the water that you want for brew coffee.
Really? Okay.
And it's different than the water you want for matcha, and it's different than the water you want to make sourdough.
Is it because the minerals or the chemical composition in it?
Yeah, there's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, you want this one to have a little bit more buffer, and this one to have some more hardness, and this one to have less whatever. Like in terms of something like this one, you do a little bit more acid. This you want a little bit less acid to really accentuate the flavors, or coffee already has enough acid, so you don't need to make it more acid. But matcha is going to be different, or kombucha is going to be different. Like they all have very slight differences. And so what I'm building with this thing is the ability to say you're doing water for matcha, cool. Here's half a liter. Go test this, and if you like it, then we can make as much as you want.
Cool, man. That's a really cool concept.
Yeah, I'm super psyched on it, and this is crazy system. And
it's a huge system on the wall.
Oh, you're mad scientist?
Yeah, hey, it's up a 7 foot by 10 foot weight.
Didn't Sandy mad at you a couple of years ago for storing your own rainwater or something? You got in trouble for that?
I didn't get in trouble for it, but I've been doing it for a long time. We'll have to cut that out, but yeah.
Whoever mayor is.
So besides the storytelling, what is some more advice or trends or that you can recommend besides the storytelling part?
Don't do it.
I don't think I can tell you guys anything that you guys don't already know. I think the one thing I can offer is just maybe a different perspective on conversation and just bouncing ideas back and forth and things like that. Or if you want to explore the water idea, I have some friends that connect with that, or whatever connections I have in whatever direction you guys want to go. I'm happy to share. But it's the same story that I've been dealing with my whole life and your whole life too. It's like you try shit and most of it doesn't work, and then you try something else.
Is there like a launch system? Because it seems like you've been pretty successful at pushing up apparel launches where you're like, hey, this is what we do every time. This stuff is cool.
Yeah, super easy on 3 or 4 designs, minimum orders each. Usually black sells. Well, your markets might be a little bit different, but I imagine earthy tones are probably going to be a big hit there. Whether that's like an off black will probably do better than a straight black. Some kind of like a sage might do well, or like a sand, or these, garment dye is a way to get that type of look that might do well. Maybe some flowy tank tops, some dolman cuts. What's a dolman? Dolman cut is kind of like, it's not quite a crop, but it's kind of like if you took like mainly like if a woman is wearing, the small woman is wearing like an XL men's shirt and like cut the neck down and cropped it. That's kind of what it would look like.
Okay.
Yeah. But just kind of unique stuff, and a few standard items. But yeah, 3 or 4 designs, minimum order. I think you guys probably you guys already have a heat press. Yeah. Just heat press some stuff and try it out. Yeah. Yeah, just go try it out, hang it up there and see what sells, and make it easy, like, just to get data on what sells, make them cheap, like, $25, $20, something, just to get them moving. And then when they're moving, you just say, we sold, twice as many of this as this, we're gonna sell penny of this. And you just replace the ones that don't sell as well with designs that do sell, and then raise the prices over time to something that, makes more sense. But sometimes you just need to get the data out there.
Okay.
But yes, it's pretty straightforward. The product itself is pretty easy. S&S Activewear, I think, is where we go for all our blanks, unless we go direct. But they have a ton of different stuff. So you can just put in like the weight, and you put in like tank top, men's, women's, long sleeve, short sleeve, the neckline. Like
Right.
you can narrow it down, because there's probably 500,000 different options there. But you can really narrow it down with the filters. And now we'll give you some stuff. Then you just order blanks off there, try them out, test them out, and then they'll interesting to get.
And do you have like a template for that? Is that something that you sell where you're like, hey, this is a starter pack that you should get? Like, pick your own colors, but use these designs? Or you think that's always different per brand?
We do have, I think on our website, we do have a starter pack. I think it's free, but we're making even the stuff we were charging for, we're now selling, we're just giving it away. Yeah. We do have one. But it's basically the same thing I already told you. It's nothing new. It might have some links in there. I'll email it to you.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if there's anything in there that you don't already know.
I mean, this is the thing, like you keep saying that, but it's been a long time since Lee and I have done apparel, and B, everybody's so busy that like I'm hearing you describe it and you're like, yeah, like I just said, I'm like, dude, I already fucking forgot it. Gotcha. So like, if you could send me a thing where I just push a button and this is like the Rhino-Lens or whatever, the industry threadwork starter pack.
Yeah.
And you see the cost displayed there, whatever it is, $200, and it's like, yeah, you get like the 4 tank tops, get these.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh no, we don't have anything for us producing that. We thought about making one, but we haven't.
No, I could order blanks. So you're saying like on whether you charge for that or not. But I used to like, for us, if we could spend $300 and a box arrives at Paleo Treats, and we say like, all right, we're gonna spend $300 or whatever it is, and we're gonna pick 1 or 2 color just blanks to test for blanks to test, and like maybe the first couple things to hang up in the shop. Box comes in and it's like, oh yeah, there's already like 4 tank tops that I would have forgotten to order, but Ryan's starter kit had this thing in it where it's like, oh yeah, you need like 4 tank tops, you need women's, men's, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I can send you a list of the ones that we work with the most over the years. Like next level 3633 is the tank top, but it's kind of like a muscle tank top. And then there's the 53 free, which is the women's tank top. There's like a racerback style.
Yeah, see, like this is fluent too. It's like asking us about almond flour. It's like, yeah, you don't want to go over here, you want to go over here. And so we'll listen, like, wait, I'm like, I'm gonna write this down. But yeah, the 1922 is like way better than the 1476. Like, yo, we're by airline, but Jesus Christ. But
Yeah. I forget sometimes that everybody has their own experience at apparel. And it's like we have kind of a different one as a manufacturer because we see so much fucking stuff going through. Yeah, I can send you an email with all our what we've seen work across all the markets, and then specifically for what you guys are building, maybe some of the ones that we'd suggest that you guys might find your fate work. Yeah, one of the other ones. Yeah, because there are a few that are standard, but also I think with you guys stuff, it's such a standout like kind of a concept that you're building. I think it would make sense to have some kind of like unique flavor to the garment where it's like it's a different look to it, like a mineral wash or ground wash or something a little bit different to it. You know, rather than I don't think a standard tee is you guys' style.
No.
Huh. Yeah, I can put like 8 or 10 in there and then you can just go to S&S and just buy those off there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Here, I think got like a little download for people watching this. They're like, yeah, I want the fucking starter pack.
Like I just posted today. I made like a 4 picture. Yeah. I just posted today like a 14-minute video on blanks that I shot, and it was almost exactly this conversation.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, it's on. I don't know if I put it up there yet. I'm swamped with like so many.
Yeah.
I gotta hire like a content guy just to like post all this shit. Who has so much content?
I know.
To deploy it all.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that'd be really fun. This is a cool concept. We're gonna come by and check it out. Yeah. When are you guys gonna have it up and running? Okay.
Late July earliest.
Okay.
So it depends on the city. I've got to go submit the permit. I got to go right by them today, and then I'll see if I actually submit it tomorrow. I'm taking the raw paperwork today. It's like, it's so many funny things with the government is that you can go in for 15 minutes at a time and it's free to get advice. Once you submit your packet, it's $500 to submit the packet for them to like actually or officially look at it. And then it's something like $160 an hour for them to give you corrections. And then once they've corrected it and everybody's happy with it, then it's another $700 for you to get them to come out and actually like look at it, make sure you built it the way you said you're going to go. But you can go in for 15 minutes at a time for free until you do that. So I'm like, I'll just fucking go.
You just recycle back and over.
I tried to do that the first time. You're like, oh, you can't come back in the same drone. I'll bring all my fucking employees up. And it's like they're having them cede their time to me. But it's like, it's such a dumb fucking system. But that's the government. That's...
Yeah, it sounds about right, dude. Sounds about right. Yeah, it's nothing efficient about the government, that's for sure.
It's crazy. But the flip side is like some of the stuff is getting really efficient. And for whatever reason, it's not noticed. Like my mom is like, oh, I got to get a new passport. She's been traveling for years. She's a super seasoned traveler, all that stuff. She's really worried about it because she came over here in the 60s as an English lady who got her American citizenship. And so she's on the side of the country that believes Trump is like a blight on the country. And so she's thinking that he is personally going to come and like kick her out of the country.
Oh, definitely.
So when she puts her passport in, she's like, I want you guys to know where all my stuff is in case I get deported. It's like, Ma, you're going to be fucking fine. And she calls me and she's like, it's going to take 6 months and they'll probably lose it. She calls me kind of like yesterday, 2 days ago, 2 weeks after she submitted. She's like, oh yeah, went through totally fine. I'm like, huh, do you think that might be because someone is doing like making the government more efficient? She's like, they must be doing something, but it can't be that Trump.
No, definitely not.
It's like some stuff is getting, I think the federal government is getting more efficient in some ways. And I also see yes too. Like the local government is starting to get more efficient as well. As much as like, yeah, there are many things that are fucked up.
I think it's like the pendulum swings so far the other way. I think people are just so tired of things not making sense.
Yeah.
And just the bullshit. Like regardless of the inefficiencies, just like the blatant nonsense that's going on. People are like, dude, you're a dude, you can't be a chick. Sorry. Like 30 something else, but like just how we're not gonna be like taking over women's sports. Like, sorry. Yeah, like common sense shit again.
It's tough stuff, yeah. I think And the DMV will be the last to fall.
Oh, and I can see that T-shirt like DMV last to fall. Like you're fucking holding out some clipboard of shit that you've like fill out. That's like don't hold out as inefficiency. We find Boston.
Melon here. Last man standing. 4 unit. Wait.
Sweet. Cool. All right, taking time. That will close this out. All right. Thanks, guys.